Do you love the idea of personal growth but find the practice of it exhausting?
We get it.
We're Brandon and Megan Giggling, growth coaches with a mission to put the personal back in personal growth.
If you want a new way of growing into the next version of you without the frustration, guilt, and overwhelm, you're in the right place.
It's time to rethink your growth journey and make it into something that works for you.
You in?
Welcome to Growth Reframed.
Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Growth Reframed. We are so happy that you're here.
Hey,
If
they didn't know, if you guys don't know, we are on YouTube now.
That's right. We are on YouTube. We are at Growth Reframed, so youtube.com/@ YouTube's a little weird, at Growth Reframed. But if you've ever thought, you know what? I love these people's husky, amazing voices. What would they look like in real, not real, but digital person? Now you can know.
I hope they don't think my voice is husky.
Well, you've been sick a few times. It has been. But the point is, if people have ever wanted to watch, we are over there. Been posting a bunch of shorts, everything else. So if you want, head over and make sure to subscribe. And then you can actually watch us live. Not live, but almost live.
Anyway, we're on YouTube.
And because we're on YouTube, we got all these cameras everywhere, which I want to just point at all of them.
There's
and
three.
Yeah, I know. We had someone else be like, do you have a 4 or 5 camera setup? No, I just like pointing everywhere and making Meg laugh. And that's fine because it's funny because I posted a video on that of me pointing around and Meg laughing. And that's usually kind of our general stance here over at Growth Reframed. And so it leads right into our episode, which is being you, being authentically you. And I know we've had that conversation a lot where we try to be put on our, well, I have a do it anyway hat on, but I'm trying to put on my personal growth hat. Mm-hmm. And I want to make sure that I am intellectual and providing value and doing all these things for all of the audience members out there. But for the most part, we don't just walk around and, spit personal growth things at each other. Actually,
sometimes it does.
Sometimes we do. I was telling you a story. Like our pastor at church was like, yeah, I'm a pastor. And like people see me off this stage and they think something like, what are you doing here? Or they think he's just like walking from room to room, like quoting scripture and like teaching the Bible. And sometimes that's what I feel like. Like I put my hat on for Growth Reframed and I'm like, all right, let's get intellectual with y'all. And let's make sure we're giving them something that they can take with them. The issue with that, of course, is you never really know who anyone truly is. If we're doing that all the time, and that was my question to you, and that's what led to this episode, like, are we truly being our authentic selves? Mm-hmm. Or are we trying to please everyone? Are we trying to put things out there to make sure we're providing value, and then we don't really care if anyone personally understands us or creates community, which is not true. Obviously, that's not true. But those are the discussions we had, and I think it can be used in this context and many others because a lot of us spend much of our lives trying to please or be everything for everyone.
It's really a complex issue because, yes, when I think about it in like, the preconceived notions of what you're doing in each step and each phase and each moment of your life, then yes, you are going to have a certain aura about you when you're teacher Brandon and be on this podcast being a teacher, or you're going to have a certain aura when you're fun daddy. Like they are real people and they're all you. And you're not being fake when you're teaching and you're not being fake when you're serious, even though there are parts of you that are light and fun and goofy. It's just that it doesn't come out on this podcast. Mm-hmm. And so for me, it's kind of just like a little bit complex because there are so many different versions of us that are actually all us. But then we can also shut down and hide behind the masks and hide behind the veils and not be ourselves. And that can be because of fear. That can be because, like you said, we want to be liked. We want to be perceived as whatever. And so we kind of use that one more than the others. But they're all really part of us. And crazy because, for me, I'm generally pretty serious. I think that comes across whether I'm on video or audio or however you're finding me. I think that's me as a person, but it doesn't mean that I don't make you laugh like hysterically every once in a while where you're like, who is this woman? Because she's my serious Maggie. And right now she's this goofy, crazy lady and I don't even recognize her.
I know it's interesting because like I got called out by my own mom, y'all. Like she's like,
That's true.
she's like, I'm watching your videos and I mean they're really good,
She's
but
like,
I'm just,
but I kind of want to kill myself.
but I kind of want to kill myself, and I'm just really sad and somber after it. I'm like, dude, like the stuff we're talking about is serious stuff, and a lot of times in the lens of social media, when you're like, well, I want to show up as my best self and the best version of myself, and I want to make sure that I'm providing value, and I want to all the whatever the things are. Then you're like, well, I got to check all these boxes and I got to be this thing. And how do I do that? And we've had those discussions. I mean, it sounds funny, y'all, but like me and Meg have had those discussions. Like, how do you talk about, dealing with anxiety and depression, or like helping our partner with that? One of our top episodes, by the way, or like any of the topics that we talk about. How do you do that with a TikTok reel or short, like where I'm dancing and being silly and trendy? Like, I'm not going to do that, y'all. And I'm just going to be real. Like, yeah, some of you out there might be social media managers and you might say, well, then you're not doing it right. And that's fine. I don't care about the likes and the views and the things. And that's what we're going to get into today. I care about showing up my way and being authentically me. And I think a lot of times we spend so much time trying to be like everyone else out there that we forget we are unique and we are uniquely us. And our voice and what we bring to the table and our experiences and everything else, they're what make you you. They're what make people want to be in community with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because, okay, so two things. First, we have to go back to your mom story first for just a second, because the next reel that he did, y'all, he was like so funny because he made sure like he was like smiling through it, and like at the end like basically did like a like with a cheesy smile and a thumbs up. Not literally, but that's how it felt.
No,
to
the
me.
smile literally, like if you guys have ever been to like a dance recital or an event
Yeah,
like
like a
that where people are
perma-smile.
perma smiling, that's what I did.
Yeah.
I had to make sure.
It was very funny, and she did like it, by the way. She noticed it. She appreciated the drastic change in Brandon's videos. Anyway, I don't even remember where I was going after that. Dang it. That's okay. I'll get it back in a second.
That's right. I was just talking about how like we try so hard to really, we all want to be liked and accepted and wanted. That's it. It's not unique to me. It's not unique to you. It's not unique to anyone out there listening. It's just, as people, you want to be accepted, which is why like a lot of times people want to be part of a community, like whether it's, Pokemon cards or whether it's movies or whatever it is, you want to be part of something. We all want to be part of something. And so in that, a lot of times to fit in, we'll bend and mold ourselves to fit in. And for me, I know like when I look at other people out there doing what I want to do or similar things to what I want to do, no one's doing, I don't see people that are doing exactly what I want. And that's a dangerous thing anyway. You start to shape and mold your personality or your digital personality or your personality around groups, like you mentioned, to be more like that person. But the problem is then you're not authentically yourself. And so you do that, and I'll tell you why you do that, because we mentioned at the top of this episode, we're on YouTube now. So it's a big deal to be on video. It feels weird. I feel a little exposed right now. And I'm being authentically me because I'm wearing my bright shirt. And if you're listening, you can go back and watch the video on YouTube. I'm wearing my bright shirt, orange with pineapple. And this is me. This is like a weekend Brandon, Friday Brandon type thing. Okay. But when you post yourself out there, especially when people can see you, it's challenging because there's a lot of internal thoughts that come in about like insecurities that I have about being on camera. I know you have those too. Insecurities about your voice, insecurities about like, well, am I adding value here or not?
Does my face look okay when I'm speaking?
Right. And so like the reason I bring up YouTube is because first of all, we're on video right now. Second of all, there's a dislike button on YouTube. And so like when I go through and I post videos, I mean, I don't try to get stuck on the vanity metrics or get stuck on those things, which I have. There's a bunch of likes on all of our videos. There's also a handful of dislikes. And the inkling in me is like, well, what the heck did I do to this person? Like I'm talking about something positive. Why are they disliking it? And then I said to you the other day, your favorite things in the entire world, your favorite book, your favorite movie, your favorite restaurant. Heck, even Jesus can't get by without people hating him. Like, someone's going to hate whatever it is you're doing. And the world's a dark place, and I think people are in a really dark place and struggling with things. And so sometimes you just hit them on the wrong day at the wrong time with the wrong thing, and it has nothing to do with you. The problem is a lot of times we see that dislike button or hear a person say something negatively about us or just experience something, and we perceive that as, well, then we have to go back into our shell and not be truly ourselves. Because clearly people don't like me. Clearly I'm the problem. And I hope you realize that when you're saying that or doing that, some cases I get, it is a family member. Excuse me. It is a family member. It's a friend. It's someone you know, a coworker that is doing it. And so that can be a little bit more difficult if it's coming from there. But a lot of times, like with the whole online space, it's the digital source saying it. Like, you have no idea who this person is, if they're a bot or not, if they're like the most miserable person on earth. You don't know. And then you let that change you.
And by the way, you don't have to be a podcaster or an online presence to have experienced this. You guys have all experienced it having a Facebook account. You say one something about something, and somebody somewhere is going to come at you and come at you hard because of one little tiny like half mention that you did. So just because you're not a creator or you're not online in the sense that maybe we are, that you don't put yourself out there like we do. If you have Instagram, if you have Facebook, I'm sure you know exactly what we're talking about, where you just felt a little attacked for something that didn't feel attackable when you did it.
Right.
You weren't trying to instigate anything. You weren't trying to do anything, and it just kind of happened. And you felt a little bit icky about that. You're like, oh my gosh, they hate me and they don't like me. And ooh, did I say the wrong thing? Did I do the wrong thing? Should I have not posted at all? Like, all these things pop into your brain, like kind of retracting you back into yourself. So you do not have to be super out there online or have YouTube channels or podcasts to experience this kind of thing.
No, like you said, the thing is, we're all wearing masks and we're all doing it in certain roles in a lot of ways to protect ourselves. But you're acting differently in all those roles. Like the goofiness that I share with my kids, I don't generally share with everyone. Yeah, once I get comfortable with you, like all y'all out there, I'm very comfortable with you now, so I can be a little bit goofy. But for the most part, there are different ways that you do it. The problem is, like, if one thing happens or one person has done something to you in your life, a lot of times you don't even realize how it's preventing you from being your true authentic self. And if you're not being truly authentic to yourself, then you might wonder why you're feeling bad and why you're not feeling fulfilled or fill in the blank. Like there's emotions that it's bringing out, and it's because you can't truly be realized. You can't truly be you. There are certain things that you don't have to share. Like for me, I heard on another podcast this week, like they were just like, well, you know, we really don't talk about political stuff because we don't want to get into political things. I totally understand that. Frankly, I'm not ever probably going to share political views on here because I feel like we're inundated all day. And a lot of times I hope when y'all are listening, it's like you're somewhat of an escape for you, that you can like sit, hang out with us and really just have a deep, meaningful conversation. I mean, that's really what this podcast is all about. So I don't want to knock you over the head with like the negativity of the world. But there's other things that, if I'm being honest, I skew away from because I'm afraid of what people will say.
Right. Let's talk about the big one. Let's talk about Christianity. Like, we are Christians, and we have people that we know listen to this podcast that are Christians, and we have people that we know are not Christians. We don't really talk about it as much as we probably feel like we should, because we're afraid of offending somebody. We don't even know who the somebody is. It's not a real person. We're afraid of offending a hypothetical person with our beliefs. But you know what? The thing is, there are beliefs, and you can walk away from this podcast. You can walk away from us as people. If you know us in person, you can walk away from us however you feel like you need to, because the truth is, you and I, all of us, we are not for everybody. And I know you've heard that before, but we are not all for every single person.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to accept that truth.
Well, that's the thing. You can say those words. Those are heavy words. Heavy. Because you have to accept then that you are not for everyone.
Right. And it's hard.
I mean, I know that's what you said, but it's hard. It's like, yeah, you know, those people that had dislike button, I'm sorry. This is me. The message I'm sharing. And that's the point. I'm showing up and sharing something because I feel led, because I feel like it's my purpose to speak my truth to whoever's willing to listen out there. And I want to make an impact, whether it's with the one person listening right now or, hundreds of people or thousands of people. I don't care. I want to make an impact and feel like I'm making a difference and feel like I'm sharing my true self in doing that. And if I do that with one person and have 5 other people who dislike it, I don't really care. And I'm going to be very clear about that. I don't care. And it's hard. It's hard to say that. It's hard to say because we're in the digital space. It's real easy because you got a lot of keyboard,
warriors, I think they call
keyboard
them.
warriors who are just, again, there'll be haters everywhere. There's haters on our stuff. We get hateful comments when we post stuff. But am I posting it for that person or am I posting it for someone else who it's going to have an impact on? I'm posting it for someone else who it's going to have an impact on. And even more importantly, I'm posting it because I feel led and I want to do it. Mm-hmm. What are you holding yourself back from where you feel led and you want to do it, but you're afraid of what someone else might say? Or you're afraid of being embarrassed, or you're afraid that you're just not comfortable yet doing it. And so you can't possibly do it. Like I've heard so many people say, like, I can't go to the gym because I'm embarrassed and I don't know how to use the equipment. So I can't do it.
Me.
But I want to do it. But I can't do it because I'm embarrassed. Well, freaking ask someone for help, y'all. I'm not being rude or judgmental. I am just telling it to you straight because I have to do it to myself and you do it to me, Meg. Bro, get out of your own head.
Right.
The reality is, by the way, no one cares about you as much as you think they care about you. And I love y'all out there, but even you listening don't care about me as much as I think you care about me. Trust me. If I'm not there next week, you might think something for 2 seconds, but you're not thinking that much about it.
Right.
No one is looking at you under the microscope that you think they are.
Yeah. We call each other out on this exact thing every week, multiple times a week. There'll be like an email that needs to get sent about a question, and we have to have a 2-minute discussion prior to see if it's too dumb of a question to ask in an email. And eventually we're like, this is so stupid. Who cares if they think we're an idiot? We're gonna know the answer at the end of it. Mm-hmm. So let them think we're a moron because we'll still be smarter at the end of it. Super simple thing. It just sometimes we really need that 2-minute conversation prior to the email being sent so that we feel validated that we can actually ask a stupid question. Ask the question.
Yeah. Yeah, it happened the other day to me. It's a perfect example. So and I didn't bring it to you. I just responded, and I'll tell you why. So I had posted a video, and this girl was like, man, I feel attacked. I feel like I need another therapy session. And she was joking. I mean, the context of the comment was joking. And then she asked a question, and for a second I thought about it, and I was like, do I ask Meg, whatever? And then I thought, no, if I'm trying to build community and I'm having a conversation with a person out that I run into on the street, I'm like, hold on, let me go ask my wife or go to someone else for validation before I give this answer. No, we want to build a community with people who love us for us. And so you need to do the same. So don't hold yourself back from things that you want to do because there's haters. Because y'all, you might sit there and think we don't have haters. We do. And trust me, the more I post, the more we put ourselves out there, the more hate we get. And bring it on, baby. Because I'm not stopping what I'm doing because I know I'm truly living into my purpose and what I'm supposed to be doing. Because I feel lit up right now on video and everywhere else. Even though I feel uncomfortable sometimes, I still feel fulfilled and filled up. And my cup is filled by doing it. And I'm not going to let some stranger on their keyboard in their mom's basement convince me that I am not going to be able to do what I have set out to do.
Preach it, brother. No, I think that, I would argue that this is true for you too, but especially for me, I think that being myself has been almost like a muscle. I have gotten so much better over time just because I keep doing it. I keep pushing past the comfort in an effort to actually show more of myself and show who I really am. And I think that's true for all of us. If we really want to be more authentically us, then I think what we have to do is practice being authentically us. It's hard at first. It's still hard to this day for me, but the more I do it, a little tiny bit easier it becomes every time. If I stop doing it, I'm going to kind of back away from it. I'm going to have to reuse restart that process, right? Just like if I stop running, then I got to go learn to run a mile again before I can run 7. And then I got to run 7 miles before I can run 13. Like, it's the same thing with this. If you continually just push past and learn to be you a little bit more and say a little bit more truth and act like how you really are a little bit more day by day, week by week, month by month, you'll eventually reach a place where you feel pretty authentic and you stop having to live behind this mask that we all do. And you start to kind of mesh and all of your different worlds kind of mold into one person, which I hope is what we're accomplishing by starting this video content that we've now been able to do for a few weeks, because I hope that it shows more of our personality than just being able to hear our voices, because we really are a culmination of all those things. Yes, this podcast is generally serious because it's personal growth, and personal growth is kind of serious, but it doesn't mean that we're never goofy. It doesn't mean that we don't dance around when we're listening to our own pump up music before the podcast starts. It doesn't mean any of those things, and it doesn't mean that we're serious, mean parents and we never have fun. But all of these things together, like, they make you up too. Like, you're a professional and you're a parent and you're a friend and you can go party at the bar, or you can be whatever you're going to do. Like, there's so many versions of you, and eventually they're going to have to come together a little bit. Yeah. And I think that the way you do that is by simply starting to do it.
That's right. And I think it all comes back to, just to piggyback on that, of acceptance. Like, every version that you were just talking about, accept that version. It's not that you can't improve or whatever you want to do, but like, accept every part of you, because that's the only way you're going to be authentic. Otherwise, you're blocking out other parts, and that's not fully, wholly you. So you have to be open to it. So like Meg said, hey, we're on video now. If you want, if you have any interest at all in seeing our beautiful faces, hello, then then you can check us out on YouTube at Growth Reframed. And if this episode touched y'all, if you feel like you just know the person who needs to hear this message, please share it over on social media and make sure to tag us at Growth Reframed. We love y'all. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to Growth Reframed. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to subscribe and leave us a review. We would love to connect with you, so shoot us a DM on Instagram at Growth Reframed. We love y'all.